This morning is our marketing masterclass, and we're going to talk about AI again. This is the third week in a series of three AI classes where I'm talking about how you can simplify your marketing and amplify your reach and your voice using AI. And so that's what we're all about talking about today. So yeah, as you join, I would love to hear in the chat your level of experience with AI, like kind of where you're at, so I can get an idea of what are the capability levels, so that I can make sure and adjust this training to that. So number one, so give me a 1 if you have no AI experience whatsoever and you're just like, what is this? I don't know how to use it for my marketing. And number 2, if you're using it but feel like there's more to learn. And then number 3, if you feel like you're a power user, you've got all the things, you're really maximizing AI in your marketing to simplify your processes and make more time for yourself to connect with your best fit clients. So that's a 1, 2, or a 3. So good morning, and we're going to dive right in. But if we don't know each other yet, my name is Melissa Kellogg Lueck, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Avanti Business Academy for Women. And that's where you are right now. You are on my Substack channel. And I absolutely love helping women entrepreneurs to create greater freedom through entrepreneurship. And I love teaching about marketing and how to simplify marketing so that you can spend more time in your zone of genius and serving your people, serving your current clients and your future clients, and really reduce that marketing overwhelm. And so I primarily work with service-based businesses. Most of my clients are in trust-driven industries like consultants, advisors, coaches, assistants, helpers, healers, practitioners, those sorts of folks. And so that's what we're all about. And so today, what I want to talk about, the title of our chat today is, our masterclass today is how you can repurpose your content using AI, and how one piece of content can become 10 pieces to really help you increase your reach, help you increase the amount of people that you are serving. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And that's what I'm going to teach you. And what I have seen and what I've experienced myself, I've been in business now for 21 years. So you can imagine how much this landscape has changed. And so AI has totally revolutionized the way that I repurpose content. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. But the problem that I often see and that I've experienced myself is that the problem we get into is like constantly creating new things. And there's nothing wrong with creating new things. I think we always need to be at the cutting edge in our industry and our thought leadership and allowing ourselves time for that. However, we also need to be fully expressing and sharing out the ideas that we are creating. And I think some of us put a lot of pressure on ourselves to always be creating new things every time we sit down to create a piece of content. And we haven't even given a lot of the ideas we have the air that they deserve, right? So it's great. Good morning, Monique. It's great to see you. So the way we want to be thinking about, yes, it's great to create new things, but to grow and scale, we want to be better leveraging the time and the assets that we already have to serve more people. So we want to think about, how can you get the same great message out to new people while you're already creating new things for the people that are already in your universe, right? But how can we get the same ideas and be consistently talking and sharing and teaching the same thing out to new people. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So it's not a shift in just strategy. It's also a shift in how you're thinking, right? And so I want to invite you today to really be aware of what you're creating and how much you are creating. I know for me, this was such a mind, it just blew my mind when I actually started thinking about all the things that I do create. Because if you think about, any journal entry that you write, if you're a journaler, or any conversation that you have with a client or a best fit client, or even a colleague or someone in your industry, and you just have this really juicy conversation, that is content, right? There's things in there that can be shared out. Any ideas that you have while and we've talked about this over the past couple of weeks, but capturing these ideas, any ideas that you have while you're in the shower, in the car, right? Those are all things that you can capture and use and repurpose and spread out to more and more people. And so that's what I want to help you with today. And so that first piece is really just becoming aware of all the amazing content that you're already creating. It's not about sitting down in front of a blank screen and starting from scratch. Because you are in the work, you're in your work, you're in the work of your clients at all times, right? Like, as entrepreneurs, we're never not an entrepreneur, right? So we're always thinking, good morning, Liz. Great to see you. So for those of you that are just joining, let me know in the chat kind of what you feel like is your level of experience. We're saying a number one for no experience with AI, like not using it all in your business. A number two, if you're using it, but you're feeling like there's more to learn. And then a number three, if you feel like you're a power user, you've got everything connected and flowing together, but you're just here to, you probably should be the one teaching this class. But anyway, no, I feel like I'm becoming a power user, but there's always more to learn. All right, two. All right, awesome. Thank you, ladies. So we know who we're speaking with today. Okay, so thinking about using AI to repurpose isn't just a shift in strategy, but is a shift in mindset, like thinking about all of the, being aware of all that you're already creating, right? With your clients, in conversations, in your journals, in thoughts that you're having throughout the day. And how can you use all of that and repurpose all of that to serve your current clients and your future clients? And I think about marketing as simply serving your future clients. So, and we know that people have different learning styles, right? And so even though you are repurposing content, we might think, oh, well, people are going to get sick of hearing the same thing all the time from me. Well, people have different learning styles. People are following you in different places. Some might be reading your emails. Some might be following you on Facebook. Some might be seeing you on Substack Live, right? But it's rare that all of them are consuming everything everywhere, right? So it's okay that you're saying the same thing. It's okay that you're repurposing things. And people, and I know this to be true for myself, is I hear things in different ways. And when I hear them, maybe I'll hear it on a podcast one way and then read it a different way. And it hits me, even the same concept, the same teaching will hit me differently, right? So, so we never have to worry about repurposing as a bad thing. I think it's helps new people to find you, discover you, learn about you, and it helps the people currently in your world to maybe hear things in a different way that will serve them, right? So, when we're thinking about AI and using AI in our marketing, it really has revolutionized this process of repurposing for me. But to be clear, we are always human first in using our AI. AI is not creating our thought leadership. I mean, this is the values and the way that I run my business. Everybody gets to decide how you want to use it in your business. But for me, AI is not helping me create my thought leadership. It's helping me repurpose all of that thought leadership in new ways. And so my goal for you and for myself is to reuse everything that I create a minimum of 3 ways, but shoot for using it 10 different ways. And so I'm going to show you today how I am repurposing my content in 10 different ways. And we're going to use this live that we're having right now as our example. So I'm talking about this like a repurpose recipe. Okay, so there's this repurpose recipe. You're going to need the following ingredients. And so for those of you that are paid subscribers, you're going to get all of these notes, and I have a handout for you with prompts and all the great stuff that I'm going to be posting for our paid subscribers. So if you're not already a paid subscriber, you can become a paid subscriber. A monthly subscription is $7. If you want the annual, it's $70. So you get savings there. You also get invitations to special events. For example, I'm hosting an AI content flywheel creation build day together, and we'll talk more about that later. But so you can take notes, or you can receive the notes if you're a paid subscriber. So for this repurpose recipe, the first thing that you need to have is your content, right? So it can be long form content. I like to start with long form content because I feel like it has the most value. It's the juiciest. It's what I put the most of my heart, mind, and soul into. And that becomes my source material. But it could be a collection of journal entries or voice notes, or an outline from a master class or a class that you've taught. Anything that is a long form piece of content. So for example, for this live, my outline that I am working off of to teach this, that was my original source material that I created, sat down and, typed it all out. And so it's my original source material. So if you think about, any podcast episodes, whether you are the host or the guest, any blog posts that you've written, classes you've taught, even programs that you've created, you can use content from there. So my suggestion, like I said, is to have that one piece of long form content that you create each week. Or it could even be a collection of small pieces of content. So that's the number one for your repurposing recipe. Number 2, you got to have an AI tool. So I use Claude to draft my my marketing pieces. For copywriting, I used a script for transcribing and repurposing video and audio assets. So for example, I wrote the outline for this training, right? And now so I have some written content from there. And so I have put that into Claude. So Claude helped me create a handout for you all. And then I'm going to, we're obviously broadcasting live here on Substack. And so I'm going to take the video from this teaching, and that will be repurposed as a podcast episode using Descript, right? And then also Descript will cut it up into short form video clips. And so those are the AI tools that I use. So Claude for the drafting the copy, Descript for helping with the video and audio content. So then the third piece of your repurposing recipe is your AI tool needs to be trained on your brand voice, your frameworks, what you teach, how you think, kind of the words, the phrases that you use. I provided a prompt pack for this in week 1 of this 3-part series. And so you can find that on my Substack channel for all paid subscribers. So feel free to subscribe. Like I said, for $7, you can get started, and that will be there for you. So you have to have your brand voice. And so there's a prompt that you can put into your AI tool that will help you create your brand voice. Basically what it is you'll attach, a few, like 3 to 5 pieces of original content that you've written, or audio or video. and it gets an idea of your voice that way. So, so then once that's trained, then the fourth piece is really knowing your client journey and where in the journey each piece of content lives and serves its purpose, right? So, for example, and so this also feeds into the next one, which is having an intention for each piece that you post. So the way I teach marketing, you always want to be meeting new people, nurturing relationships, and making offers, right? So your marketing content serves in those three purposes as well. And so when you're repurposing, it's not just for sake of putting stuff out there. You want each one of those pieces to have an intention. So for example, since we're on Substack, Substack notes, which are shorter form copy, kind of like a Twitter feed, those notes help people discover you, right? So that would be in the new section of your marketing plan. It would help new people to get to discover you, right? So when I'm having content repurposed, I want to have content that's serving all parts of all the three steps of my marketing plan. So I want to have content that's for short form, like Substack notes or Facebook posts or Instagram posts or LinkedIn posts, right? That's where people discover me. And then number two, you want to have content that's nurturing relationships. And how I define that is content that builds trust, that helps your future clients to get to know you, discover how you think and how you teach and how you work with people, right? So longer form repurposed content would be like Substack articles, since we're on Substack, right? So articles are longer form content. Maybe podcast episodes or live broadcasts, right? So you could reuse that content into those longer form pieces. And then you always want to be making offers. That's what I always say is, so even in the content that is helping people discover you and get to know you, you want to be inviting those folks to go to the next step. So once someone discovers you, so in this instance, for example, maybe I'm going to create a Substack note from this content that I'm delivering right now. And then the call to action would be something like, join me next week on, for my free marketing masterclass live on Substack. And so there's no cost to it or anything. It's just inviting people to go to the next step with you. And then in my nurture content or content maybe that I have for my subscribers, the offer is going to be different. It's going to be inviting them to the next level in that relationship, right? And so you want to have an intention for every piece of content that you're creating. And so once you know that, you can direct your AI tool to be including that intention, that purpose in the draft of your posts. And then number 6 in your repurposing recipe is to have organized input, like really think through all of this, which is why I'm teaching it this way, because I want you to think through it so that you can give clear direction to AI. I mean, if you think about, I like to think of AI as my marketing assistant. So if I had a marketing assistant here that I was going to teach that person, teach her how to draft copy for me, I would have to give her all of this instruction, right? And so you want to be thinking about it in that way and thoroughly in that way so that you can also train your AI tool. And so your input needs to be organized so that you get organized and high quality output, because whatever you put in, that's the kind of quality you're going to get out. And it is an iterative process. You don't have to have it all perfect up front, but if you've thought through this and you put those thoughts in to your AI tool, you're going to have better output. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? I'll pause right here for our repurposing recipe. Anybody have any questions? Are you tracking with me as we move on, right? Okay, awesome. Well, feel free to ask any questions. Even if you're watching on the replay, I will see those and I'm happy to answer those. So then once you have this all thought through, tracking so far. Awesome, Liz. Thank you. And no questions yet. All right. So once you've thought through that all so far, then you're going to begin writing your prompt in your AI tool. And so what I like to do is it can just take off all the pressure of having to have the perfect prompt. It's an iterative process. And so what I love to do is I'll just put in there, this is me typing into my AI tool. I want to repurpose this content that I've created into 10 different pieces. So, and you can list out the 10 different ways you want to use it, because AI is smart enough to know that Facebook content is different than LinkedIn content or Instagram content, right? So it will help make those distinctions. And you can list out the different ways that you want to use it. And then just say, can you help me? And it will. And it will ask questions. It will draft things. And you can tell it, use my voice, my tone, my spirit in the draft. And then you'll start receiving that output, right? And then I want you to edit it, comb through it, and then give feedback to your tool on it, just as if you were training an employee. You want to give feedback. And you can be brutally honest with AI. It doesn't have feelings, so you're not going to hurt its feelings. Just be brutally honest. And that's how you create that repurposing. So just to give you an example of how this broadcast that you're part of right now is going to be used 10 different ways. This is what it looks like. And it really is so simple, right? So number one, I spent probably about an hour and a half creating this outline. So that's the bulk of the work, right? So I created the outline. That all came out of my brain from what I know, how I'm using this in my own business. So I created that outline and I typed it out. I put my notes in Evernote, and I have it on my phone and on my computer. And so I worked on it in both places, right? And since we're camping and I'm in the trailer, and so I love to sit outside in the morning and have my coffee, and that's my great thinking time. So I created a lot of these notes during that time, right? So I created that outline, and then I gave it to Claude to create the handout that I'm going to share with all of my paid subscribers. I'll send it out to you after this. So that was the second way, right? Then the third way is this broadcast. I'm now broadcasting live on Substack and teaching this content. And so I'm creating audio and video content right now. And so then I'll take that recording and repurpose that. My team will repurpose that as a podcast episode. And so I have humans working on that, and I had to train them as well. And so that's the fourth way, right? There we go. And then, so they're going to create a podcast episode, and then they will also create short form video clips from this. So we edit the podcast in Descript. And so Descript will create the short form video clips. And then those short form video clips will be used on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So that's our 5, 6, and 7. And it will also draft captions and draft an announcement post for the podcast episode. So that's 7 different ways. And so I'm only counting those as one, but it will get it will create 3 to 5 short form video clips. And those 3 to 5 clips will be posted on 3 different platforms, right? Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And then we will also repurpose the content and use it in an email that goes out to my email list. So that's number 8. I will also use it to draft an article for Substack. That's a recap article. And also it will be cut up into notes for Substack. So those are the short form copy posts. And so that's 10 different ways that this one piece of content will be repurposed, and it will be used to serve my audience here on Substack and my subscribers here on Substack. It will be used to help my discoverability on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, right? So new people get to learn about my work. And then it will be used to serve my podcast audience and my email audience. And it will nurture those relationships and those folks as they are moving along in their client journey with me. So, and then of course, in all of it, I'm making offers, right? So on, in the notes or on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, I'm inviting people to come to this broadcast or to listen to the podcast episode. And in the podcast episode, I'm inviting them to, come and become a paid subscriber on Substack or book a consultation call with me. So there's always a call to action in each one of those pieces. So that's the simple down and dirty of how we repurpose one piece of content, or it could just be a whole bunch of little pieces of content that you collect throughout the week, because I do that also. Whether it's notes, journal entries, things, conversations that you've had, things that you've taught your clients and so forth, and gathering all that up and putting it into AI and having it help you repurpose those ideas for all of these different parts of pieces of content for your marketing. So that's the down and dirty of it. Does anybody have any questions? We have a little time for question and answer. But in the meantime, I wanted to just remind you that for all of our paid subscribers, you will be invited to my Content Flywheel Build Day on August 5th, where we're going to build this out together, me and you, as a Claude skill, so that you'll be able to trigger this whole process. So this is how I have it built out, is I give Claude all of the source material, and I type in the chat, run the flywheel, and it creates it knows this whole workflow. It knows it's already been trained on everything that I want to come out, and it runs it all for me on a weekly basis. And so I'm going to build that with you on August 5th at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. And so if you are a paid subscriber, you will get an invitation to that. And we'll be on live together on Zoom so that you can be working right alongside me, and I can answer questions and help you solve any issues or get past any snags. So that's what's happening on August 5th. So I just encourage you to subscribe and get that. And also I will be sending out the notes and the prompt pack and so forth from this session. But I would love to hear what's one takeaway that you have from today that you're going to take with you and implement today, because as we know, just sitting here and consuming isn't going to help you grow and grow your business. So let me know what sticks out for you today, what you're going to take with you, and that can help the others that are here too. So anybody have anything that they're taking away from today as we wrap up? And just to point out, I will be right back here next week and teaching our marketing masterclass on Wednesday morning. And I'm not quite sure what the topic is going to be. So if there's anything that sticks out for you that you would love to hear me teach on, let me know. And I'm happy to continue with some of this AI topics. But I really appreciate all of you being here today. It's been great to have you with me. And thanks so much. I hope you got some really great ideas from this. And Liz says, just starting the process so I can implement all the other steps. Yeah, the long content to use. Yeah, and I know it's so interesting because we all have created so much content and we forget about it, right? I actually created a excavation tool that I'm happy to share that really helps you mine all of the intellectual property, the thought leadership that you've created, because I know you've created some and plenty of it over the years. So that can be really helpful to get an idea of all the well of content that you have to choose from. And I wouldn't get real caught up in long, right? Like you can take different little pieces and it all comes together to be something long. But I would just give it a try, give the process a try. And obviously, of course, I'm here. You need an excavation tool, Monique. I have an excavation tool for you. I will share that with you. I will. Yeah, that is so true. The content does get scattered in so many different platforms. So maybe I'll do a training on my excavation tool and give that to y'all for my first subscribers, because that was really, really helpful for me. And if you're using Claude and you have, because you can hook Claude into your Google Workspace, and it can actually go in and find all of the pieces. And so just as an example, I created it for authors so they could begin to pull together their thought leadership to write a book, but it can be for any of us that are creating content, right? So it went into my Google Drive and actually found yes, and Canva too, absolutely. It actually found a first chapter of the book that I've already written, which I had totally forgotten about. And so it brings together everything in a really neat way. So maybe I'll do that next week. I'll share the excavation tool with you all, and it will really help pull together the content for you, because then you can take it, in whatever form it's in, whether video, audio, or copy, and then have your AI tool repurpose it in all these different ways, because you'll be surprised. I was shocked at how much I've actually already created. And so it's really, really helpful. So, all right, that's awesome. So that's what we're going to do. So I will set that up. Y'all will get an email about that. And make sure you're subscribed so that you're getting notified. And I wish you all a fabulous rest of your Wednesday. Thanks so much for being here. And I look forward to seeing you all soon, next Wednesday, if not before. All right. Goodbye.